Hey guys, I'm Charles, this is Matt again. I kind of want to talk to you for just a second about the concept, the whole concept of grappling in general. What are we doing here? Well, what is it that we're trying to accomplish? Why are we on the ground? Why are we wearing these types of, clothing? These are a lot of things a lot of people don't address, and when you go to a new martial arts school, be it Jiu-jitsu, Judo, Sambo, all different types of styles that wear these types of uniforms, it's very, very confusing. First, I want to make sure you understand, historically speaking, this is a Japanese creation. The founder of Judo, Jigoro Kano, created this. It was supposed to be a type of a buffer in between your regular clothing and your armor. It was very thick. And he thought to himself, instead of trying to wear an expensive kimono, which is what most people wore, why don't we just go ahead and wear this thing? This thing seems to be very, very durable. And it was kind of like a modern-day jumpsuit, for its time. So that's what it is. The belt system was a ranking concept. Again, don't forget, martial arts is based on a structure of a military concept. So you've got your foot soldiers all the way up to your general. So the ranking is supposed to give an idea for both the student, the other students, and the teacher as an idea, as kind of a gauge. Like, where are we in this whole thing? What is it we've accomplished? What have we learned? Now, in our specific martial arts school, as a lot of jiu-jitsu schools, you actually need to be able to do the material against anybody. You're not going to be seeing white belts just come off the street, somebody get a white belt, join a martial arts school, and just start running over people who've been doing this 5, 6, 7, 8+ years. It's not going to happen. You're going to find some rarities. If some 400-pound bodybuilder, 8-foot guy comes in here, he's obviously going to give anybody a run for his money because he's just a big, strong guy. But then again, therein lies the practice of what it is we're supposed to be accomplishing. We're working on trying to use what it is that we've got against the other person, not brute force against a more brute force, not a collisional energy. We're supposed to be, Jiu-jitsu means yielding art. So that's what we're trying to yield and blend the other person's energy. Just kind of give you a basic idea. And again, these are all Japanese concepts that the whole world uses today, and it doesn't make it any better or worse. It just kind of give you some edification there. Now, that said, you can use this. I can grab onto Sensei Bonser's gi here, and I can put my thumb inside and grab, but for safety's sake, you'll notice that most people don't allow this. This is 4 fingers on the outside. Boom. It's a nice basic twist grip. Very, very effective. All these are establishing what's called point of controls. PoCs, what we call them in our school. So you've also got what's also commonly called a pistol grip. Some terms, some vocab you're going to hear in some schools is going to be the same across the board. Others will be different. Doesn't make it better or worse. Call it anything you like as long as you understand the concept of what it is you're trying to accomplish. So you've got sleeve control. All right, this is a very excellent point of control. If I pull my partner and I've got both my legs around him, commonly called a front scissor, also called full guard, just depends on the school that you're in, you've got sleeve control. You've got point of control of your knees wrapped around with your ankles, locked, trying to make sure this guy can't get out. It's a good position, although it has some pros and cons. I'm holding his torso, but I'm not able to really control his limbs too much. This is the point of why we're holding onto the sleeves. You've also got, I'm able to get some lapel control, as well as sleeve and lapel. I've got double shoulder control. I've got what we call cowboy control, also just known as belt control. I can put one hand down, 2 hands down, or one up. It's really preference here. And then you can combine these as well. You've also got basic of what's referred to as double knee control, so I can hold like such. So if he starts to escape, I can start to control him just by holding on to his legs. And of course, you've got a variety of different positions that you can work with. We use approximately 5 to 10 on a regular basis. You got about 45 that you can really pull from. They get very, very interesting. Now, let's go and talk for a second about what is the point of this? The point for us in our school, as should be the point for you learning this as well, is from a combative perspective. Your intention behind learning any martial art should be martial in nature. If you're just doing this for a sporting mentality, nothing wrong with that. That's fine. Make sure you identify for yourself the reason why you're doing it. If you're just trying to win tournaments in the sense of trying to get points and your goal is going to be a trophy or a medal or some type of accolade like that, that's fine. But don't delude yourself by thinking that because you got a first place in a tournament that all of a sudden now you're an excellent, victorious champion. You can defend yourself against anybody, because if you haven't trained for that, you're not going to be able to do that, okay? So when we start, we want to make sure we identify our purpose. What's our intention here? For us, we want to get good exercise. We want to make sure we work every part of our mind and our body. We want to enjoy ourselves, have a good time, and not get hurt. Got to go to work tomorrow, right? So it's very, very important. Also, I'm trying to engage with this individual like a chess match, right? So here we are, check, 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 boom, done. Whoever the person is unable to continue because either they gas out, they submit by tapping out on the ground, they're saying, I can't go forward anymore, I just can't do it. It's typically either by a choke or by a lock, right? You've got 13 major joints on the body you can lock. You've got 2 ankles, 2 knees, your hips, shoulders, elbows, wrist, and 13 makes your neck, right? 6 and 6 is 12, and then you're 13. So the whole time, we are both trying to get the other person unable to be able to continue, and thereby tap out. Now that we're starting, what do we do? You see most beginners, they just like start running all over each other and doing stuff like this, and it looks like 2 baby kittens just playing around, maybe a couple puppies just going crazy. If you notice, every single creature on the planet wrestles, all right? But the difference is that each creature, even though they don't go to their school of thought, right, to practice this stuff, they still have a methodology behind it. Humans don't. We have no clue as to what the heck it is we're doing. But I want to tell you, there is a very precise specificity as to how to begin this process, okay? So let me go and give you an example. Here we are, we bow in our school, we show respect by bowing, we slap hands, and then boom, okay? Now then, I need to figure out what's he trying to do. Each of us has 2 major positions we can play when we start, right? Top and bottom, right? I look at his body language, what does it look like? It looks like he wants to try to come up on top of me, thereby trying to play what we call the top position. My body language, I'm here in my bottom, so I'm playing the bottom position. Why would I want to do that? What's the point of that? Is it good to be on the bottom? This is going to be a preference, okay? You'll notice that a lot of people, that the more years they've got practice, they've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5,000 hours of practice, actually like to be on the bottom. Now the reason for that is because they can use this other person's energy against him. As he comes up, in order for him to advance, to come to me, he's got to be able to come up. When he starts coming up, he's giving me this opportunity to be able to take his balance and thereby sweep him over. Now, we could just as easily stand up, right? We try to wrestle each other to the ground. That's fine. Wrestling's a good art. But if we're already on the ground, right? He's already canceled my height. Now that we're on the ground, now what do? That's why we're grappling. Now our objective here is first, again, to establish who's playing what. Looks like he wants to play top. I'm going to play the bottom. So now what do? Right? Do I try to stay here? Am I trying to get back on top of him? What am I trying to do here? If he wants to play the top, whoever it is that wants to go ahead and establish they want to play the top, has two major things they can do, right? The first thing that they can do is either get around my legs. They need to circumvent my legs. As long as I can use my legs against him, I've got a great opportunity to beat him, right? So he can do that by a number of different ways. These are just commonly called passes, right? He can easily, boom, he's got a good pass, right? Excellent. So he's just trying to make sure I can't use my joints against him. Okay, that's the first thing he's going to try to do. If he is unsuccessful and is not finding that he's able to do this, he keeps trying and trying. Every time that he tries to get around, he notices that I'm making it too hard for him, right? And I'm able to start to do a lot of different stuff to him. He's like, man, I can't seem to do that. What's he going to do? What he needs to do now is attack my legs. If he can't get around them and I'm using these to fortify my position, we can do like a standing ankle lock, for example. Right? Well, boom. He can easily put it underneath and do a standing ankle. These are good. He can also maybe grab it, sit over it, and go for a knee bar. Awesome, right? So those are the two things that the top guy needs to do if he wants to play the top. So what is the bottom guy trying to do here? Well, obviously, he should know that this guy is trying to get around his legs. Okay? So you can't let him. Now that's easier said than done, right? That's not easy to do because the moment he collapses my legs in any different manner of ways, maybe he stacks my legs up. Right? Awesome. How are you supposed to avoid that? Right? I mean, people go, I can't, they're just too fast. There's a lot of basics that a good martial arts teacher, and there's a lot of good martial arts teachers out there. Any of them can show you this type of stuff. These are called preventions, okay? First thing you need to know, you want to be offensive. You don't want to wait for this guy to do something. Especially if you're on the bottom, don't wait. Start to attack, okay? So the bottom guy has two things that he can do, and should do, needs to do. First is Don't let this guy get around. Make it really, really hard, right? And the second thing I need to do is if I'm having trouble with any of this, I need to establish a good point of control. I need to make sure that I can check everything he does and not let him get any points of control so that I'm controlling him the whole time. Remember, if you're playing defense, self-defense, right, you're on the defensive side. Don't be defensive. Be offensive, right? That doesn't mean being barbaric and aggressive and being tight. It just means being very specific. So, for example, let's say that he grabs my legs. I don't just wait there. I now grab him. Okay? I know he's getting ready to try to come around, and the more familiar you are with each pass, that'll kind of give you an idea as to what it is that you need to do to kind of set it up so that they can't pass you. So in this position, very easily, I can start to control him, just like such. I like to use my feet to hook as much as humanly possible. Hook, hook, control, right? Let's hit up for me sometime. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then you can start to combine these. Right, so that way you've got this guy in a good position. Now, that doesn't mean you're going to be facing head on. Maybe he knows that his balance is compromised, so maybe he puts one foot in and one foot back. This is very, very common. A lot of guys like to put this one really close. So they're like such. Oh, it's going to be a lot harder. How am I supposed to get my foot in? You have to practice. There's different kinds of techniques that allow you to do that, right? So that you may have to switch. You're also going to have to learn how to move your body in such a way that you can take this guy and his balance. Now, at the same time, you got to remember, he's not just going to be sitting there. He's not going to make this easy for you. That's okay. Don't give up. It's very simple. So let's go ahead and repeat it again. Top guy, whoever's trying to play top, is trying to get around your legs. And if he can't, he's going to attack him. Bottom guy, again, 2 objectives. I'm trying to keep him from getting around, and I want to be offensive. If he starts to get around, I need to practice what are referred to as recovery drills. Very, very slowly. Let's say that sensei's trying to come around this way, and it looks like I have no opportunity to stop it. Try to put your hands out like this. This is very, very common. Every belt level does this, from white to black, right? This isn't bad. But there's a lot of other things you can do to invert your body. Learning how to move in such a way that makes to where your 0 degree line is hard to find. Remember, if he can't pin you, he can't win. That's our mantra in wrestling. If you can't pin, you can't win. So I want to make this very, very challenging. So you need to be kind of awkward, so to speak, in your motion. You're not going to find normalcy when it comes to grappling at the upper levels. It's going to look very, very strange and bizarre, but that's okay. That level of bizarre, if you will, is normal, and you're going to have to practice. This isn't something you're just going to learn a series of techniques. It's a series of body mechanics in motion. This is where learning how to do this stuff, if you want to get good at it, you're going to have to put in a lot of years of practice. You're going to be doing this long term. This isn't a short term type of thing. It's a lot. There's a lot of things that you can practice for, a month to a year and have some somewhat basic proficiency. Jiu-jitsu, not altogether going to be one of those. It's something this is a lifestyle change with your nutrition, your sleeping habits, your exercise habits, both in and outside, your mental focus. And so this is a lot of different stuff. So you have to make sure you understand your positions, your escape and recovery, your transitions, your preventions, and your submissions, not just the techniques for submissions. And then, like a giant, mega huge puzzle, you have to learn how to put them all together. This has been a nice little 101 we wanted to share with you, kind of give you some basic ideas when you're first learning what grappling is and what it isn't, right? If you're not learning how to do this from a self-defense perspective, you're strictly learning it for a sporting event. And that's okay if that's what you want to do. But if you want to actually learn how to do this stuff to where you can do it in a real situation, like for example, this guy starts to come in and starts to hit me, I got to make sure I can't just think, how do I do an arm bar, right? Because that may not be what this position is. Maybe your instructor has taught you how to do stuff to sweep this guy and lock him really fast, and that's good. But what if he's hitting you? That's different. This guy coming into me, as you see in a lot of MMA events today, a lot of people from here, they're used to just doing locks and chokes, but they don't know how to prevent a hit. If I'm just covering up as he tries to hit me, I'm going to lose some teeth. Busted eye, broken nose. You need to go into it knowing that's very well could happen anyway. But if this guy starts to strike me, learning how to do what's called shielding, right? This is something that you learn And people say, oh, I went to an MMA school and learned this. You should learn this just because you want to learn to protect yourself if you're on the ground. He starts to hit me, go ahead. Now, keep in mind, I'm not just going to sit here and let him burn calories, right? I'm going to go for a move. I'm not going to sit here and just wait until he gasses out. As he starts to do something, I'm controlling this guy to a point where, see where my foot moved? I went from here, I've got front, back control, he starts to move, boom. Now I can start to do something to him, boom. Right? This is very, very important. Ask your teacher questions. If you have questions, you're probably not the only person in your school that's wondering what in the world's going on. As a beginner, this is overwhelming. It's so much, and that's why we wanted to make this. If you have any questions, please contact us. We really want to help you out because we know what it's like. We see beginners every single day come in this school. They think, oh my God, this is a lot, and we want to break it down for you very step by step so that you can understand what this huge game is. A sensei likes to tell a lot of people, this is like a whale. The biggest Moby Dick you've ever seen. You're not going to catch a whale, right? All by yourself with a little rod and reel and a little bitty tugboat. It's going to take years of practicing to get a really big rod and reel. Many years to get a really big boat. A lot of courage over the years to go out to sea and then catch your whale. Then you're able to bring him in. Then once you bring him in, what happens? You're not going to be able to eat this all at once. Take it little by little. Thanks for watching. We hope to see you soon.